For the past 2 years, Nintendo has had a January Direct of some sort. In 2018, it was a Direct Mini that went over games such as The World Ends With You for Switch. In 2017, it was a Direct focused entirely on Fire Emblem. Given that the January Direct has been a recent trend by Nintendo, many people have been expecting a January Direct this month. And there have been rumors about the appearance of one from both credible insiders as well as people who claim to be in the know. So just what is happening this month? Are we getting a January Direct or not? Let's dive in a little bit and see if we can uncover anything interesting. So as far back as December, leaker Zenother claimed that he had heard rumblings of a potential January Direct, though he claimed at the time it wasn't anything solid. However, as time has passed, even more information about a possible and potential January Direct began to come out from other insiders. At the start of January, Gaming Intel declared that we would in fact be getting a January Direct. Now, they had previously gotten the November Smash Direct predicted correctly, as well as getting both dates for the September Direct as well, and some others even dating further back. So as far as the Directs themselves go, they are usually fairly accurate when it comes to dates. Now, another insider and leaker in the know of things is Peaky Bird. Now, Peaky is an interesting case. He correctly predicted the last 2 Directs as well, and on top of that, he was seemingly one of the only people in the scene that actually predicted and knew about Joker's reveal in advance. Even though it was only just a couple of days, he was still clearly in the know of things. Now, some weird stuff has happened with Peaky. A couple weeks ago, Peaky had tweeted in support of there being a January Direct. However, shortly after that, Nintendo began tweeting out themselves about some of the release dates for the upcoming games, like Yoshi's Crafted World and some of the Final Fantasy titles that were being ported over. Now, this got a lot of people skeptical because people began to say, well, if Nintendo's tweeting out stuff like this, does that mean the Direct is cancelled? Why wouldn't they save information like this to be announced in the actual Nintendo Direct? Now, after these Nintendo announcements, Peaky did come out in favor of there still being a Direct in January, and he said that it would be heavily focused on third-party games. Now, oddly enough, these tweets have been deleted, therefore I can't show them to you, but some of his replies to those tweets are still there. And as you can even see, someone else from a few days ago was asking if the deleted tweets mean that the Direct has been cancelled. Now, this whole thing is very strange, and I'm not sure what exactly to make of the deleted tweets. Naturally, the first assumption is, oh, the tweets got deleted, that must mean there is no Direct, and that Peaky is trying to cover up the fact that he's wrong. But he's been wrong before and not gone to these extents. Back in November, a lot of leakers and insiders had heard there would be in fact an additional Nintendo Direct, not just the November Smash Bros. Direct. Evidently, it came to pass that there was no second Direct, and somewhere along the line, the plans changed for Nintendo somewhat, and Peaky was one of those who was predicting a second Direct, but after it didn't come out, he held that loss. He didn't go around deleting the tweets. So I'm not sure what these sudden deleted tweets could point to when previously he has not gone this route. Now, as I mentioned, one of the deleted tweets from Peaky said something along the lines of not counting the Direct out for the end of the month, and that it would most likely be filled with a lot of third-party games and third-party content. So that is a very interesting take that he had. Now, one thing to keep in mind with Nintendo releasing these dates for these upcoming games is that they could have been doing that to help clear space in the Direct if they felt like it was already overcrowded, trimming down the fat, if you will. We already got to see Yoshi's Crafted World in the September Direct along with the Final Fantasy announcements. We don't necessarily need to see that stuff again. A release date tweet seems fine in my eyes. And speaking of specifically the Final Fantasy announcements, why did we only receive 2 of the dates? it seems to me a bit odd that they would just throw those two out there and not include the others. So my bet is that they've saved the other dates to show in the Direct whenever it eventually comes. Final Fantasy VII will be a big one, of course, and naturally they'd want to save the spotlight for that one if there is indeed any more video footage to show and talk about. Either way, as I said, it seems odd that they didn't show all the Final Fantasy release dates together, so that makes me think we are getting a Direct with those other release dates in it. Now, Nintendo certainly has no shortage of things they need to show in this upcoming year, so I doubt that they lack things to announce. They briefly touched on Animal Crossing last time in the September Direct and gave a 2019 release date. We still need to see some more about that. Metroid Prime Trilogy was rumored for the VGAs, but it was a no-show, and we still know Metroid Prime 4 has been in the works and people have been anxiously awaiting that. There's Pokemon Generation 8 around the corner, which may be a bit too early to show that in the January Direct, but it's certainly on their minds. Fire Emblem Three Houses is slated for release this year as well, and Nintendo still needs to show more on that. Those are just things off the top of my head without even researching too far, much less any other secrets that Nintendo may have hidden. With Joker's inclusion into Smash Ultimate DLC and the rumblings and rumors of a Persona 5R to Switch port, we are still waiting to see what could become of that. Something like that could definitely have been saved for a January Direct rather than going with the original P5R announcement. Kingdom Hearts 3 releases this month. Could there be any news for a potential Switch port on the way in the future? There's a lot of news Nintendo could have to release at this point for many games, so it makes perfect sense for there to be a Direct this month. Now, someone who I haven't talked about for a while did in fact make an interesting tweet last week, our old friends Leaky Pandy. They put out this cryptic tweet saying, "Draft your tweets, draft your tweets. Draft them, have them ready. Joy, fear, excitement. Draft it. Then next week, send them regardless of what happens. Whatever you choose, you'll be prepared with a proper reaction." This is seeming to imply heavily that something huge could be happening this week. Now, I've said before not to put too much stock into what Leaky Pandy has to say, but the fact is they were one of the only people suggesting that a reveal would happen at the VGAs for Smash Bros, and they were suggesting that a long time in advance, not just a few days before. Now, evidently I do think they got the character wrong, and the character they were expecting was someone from Dragon Quest, but I can't say that is definitely the case as they never revealed the character they were meaning, but it definitely sounded like they were expecting Dragon Quest. Either way, not many insiders were coming out with information about an actual reveal on VGA night, and Leaky Pandy, to their credit, had it pegged as a spot for a reveal. So in this new tweet they've put out, someone replied back asking if it was related to Pokemon at all, and Pandy replied with just the E, the K, the M, and one of the O's, leaving the user to reply with Kingdom Hearts on Switch or a Sora trailer, to which Pandy did not reply. Now, interestingly enough, those letters would fit and match Kingdom Hearts perfectly, but they would also fit a ton of other series, I'm sure. But Kingdom Hearts 3 news for Switch right now would be huge, as not a lot of people are expecting that, and a Sora DLC spot in Smash would be equally as big of a blindside, as the vast majority of people have settled on Erdrick's inclusion with all of the data mined info out there and the rumors out there as well about Brave and all this other stuff. So I'm very curious to see if Pandy is just blowing smoke or if they actually know something again. Interestingly enough, something like that would line up with what Piki has been preaching for a while now, that 2019 will have a lot of third-party stuff for Switch. He's made numerous hints at that fact, and again, as I said, one of his deleted tweets was suggesting the January Direct to be full of third-party information. Now, personally, I think we will get a Direct this month. Now, I'm not sure whether it will be this week or next week, but I'm confident one has to be coming. It just feels like it's been so quiet since the VGAs, which granted was only just over a month ago, but Nintendo has been focused on Smash for a lot of the past 9 months. I think people are chomping at the bit for a regular Nintendo Direct again, just like in September, and I'm sure Nintendo has a lot of stuff they want to show off as well. The holidays just passed, and you know a lot of Switches were bought for Christmas presents. Now is the perfect time for Nintendo to show off just what's coming in the future months to get those people who just got a Switch on board and hyped up. As far as Smash information goes, I'm not certain if any will be in the January Direct. I personally don't think we will get the second DLC fighter shown this quickly. I'd expect something like that around a March Direct. In fact, I'm not even sure we'd get any Joker footage right now. I'd expect probably the final release date for Piranha Plants and maybe an additional Mii costume or two for the shop, but I don't expect any hardcore Smash information right now personally. But with that being said, guys, those are my thoughts on a January Direct. I do think we're getting one. Let me know in the comments below what your opinions are. Will we get a Direct this month or not? As always, my previous videos are on screen. Check those out if you do have time. My Discord and other social media links are in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and notifications on for more future content. Thanks for watching. This is Red. I'll see you guys next time.